Hello, and welcome to episode 11 of the Knitting Traditions podcast. My name is Inga, and you can find me on Ravelry as Knitting Tradition and on Instagram as Knitting Traditions. And it's on Instagram that I'm the most active. If you're a new viewer, you're so welcome here. This is a podcast or vlogcast mainly about knitting, but also a little bit of other crafting. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. More than 10 episodes now and more than 10,000 subscribers. That's insane. I am so grateful for all the love that I have received from the knitting community and that I've been welcomed in such a large scale so quickly. I love interacting with you guys, and even if you're just a silent watcher, a lurker, which I used to be myself until I started recording these videos, I'm just so happy that you're spending some part of your day with me. And as a thank you, I will be doing a giveaway today a little bit later. But first, let's talk about knitting. So, since it's December, Christmas is around the corner, I am wearing something festive. For me, this is festive. It's red. I have two red garments in my wardrobe. This sweater right here, which is the Stockholm sweater. I'll see if I can get a bit closer. It's a pattern by knit top down with some special shoulder details, and it has it's like 2 years since I knit this, but I think I picked up stitches and knit down. I think that's what the pattern says, and it's a double folded neck. I did not put a elastic band into this, which I wish I would have done. I do enjoy the neckline on my Oslo sweater by Petite Knit more, and in that one I did put a elastic band inside this neckline. And I'm not sure if I knitted the same length as the pattern, seeing as it's 2 years ago, and at that time I didn't really put a lot of details in on Ravelry on my description page. But I do remember that I knitted in a yarn called Erle by Garn, which is a Norwegian producer. And it's basically a mohair yarn. I'd say that it's probably a bit thicker than, let's say, Telia by Filcolana. It's also thicker than Drops Kidsilk. So I used that yarn held double for this sweater, and it turned out quite thick. And this is actually the only knitted garment that I have felted, and it was by accident, but kind of an accident that I was fully aware of, that I was taking the risk, because there was something wrong with my washing machine, so that once this was done being washed, it was just soaking wet. Like, my washing machine wouldn't drain out the water, so I kind of centrifuged it repeatedly, and it still didn't work. And I think the machine overheated, so the change in temperature with the friction and everything felted it a little bit, but it still fits. Like, it's no problem. We're talking about maybe 1 or 2 centimeters smaller. It's fine, really. I think at the end of this episode I'll talk a little bit about how I wash my garments, because that was a question on the question and answer thread on Ravelry. I hope that you are all doing well, and that you're sitting down either with your knitting right now, or maybe something to drink. I'm enjoying some tea in this cute cup. It's a cup, right? That I got in Lisbon in Portugal. I think it was it's almost 2 years ago now. And it's a handmade ceramic one with some really nice paintings on it. And I'm drinking my new favorite tea, which is from the English tea shop, and it's an organic white tea with coconut and passion fruit. And passion fruit is one of my favorite flavors in drinks. So this one's really good and really warm, so suitable for recording an episode. And I decorated with a Christmas flower, which is actually a tropical flower, but in Norway we have these in our homes around Christmas. A lot of people are allergic to them. I'm not, luckily. And I have my knitting needles over here, which I decorated with fairy lights, and it looks like a little Christmas tree, I think. And in the back here I have a grånisse, which is a gnome. In the last episode I kept calling or referring to the Norwegian folklore of nisse as goblins, which was a mistake on my part. I kept thinking gnome in my head, but it came out as goblins, so I guess they look most like garden gnomes, but here they live in the barns and they play tricks on us, and there's just a lot of stories around them in the Norwegian folklore. And I actually bought a book on Norwegian folklore tales 2 days ago after one of you guys commenting that you had seen one with some beautiful illustrations, and I'm really interested in older traditions and folklores and sagas and just all these stories. So I got it because I want to refresh my childhood memories and kind of bring it on to future generations. But my memory is so bad, so I need to refresh it. I don't know if you guys struggle with memory, but I definitely do. And this week has been a week. I was so tired today. I just wanted to take a nap after work, after pulling 48-hour shift. And then I have the weekend as well that's coming up. But I figured I wanted to squeeze in an episode since I have the afternoon off. And I'm sorry if the lighting is not perfect today, but it's December, it's dark, and I'm not home in the day, so this is it. And the artificial lighting is making me look so pale, but I'm also really pale, so yeah. Yes, so this pattern, I'm really a huge fan of Petite Knit's patterns. She uses a lot of patterns that combines yarns and also mohair yarns, which I really do enjoy. But I don't think I have ever knitted her patterns, except for her hat, in her recommended yarn, just because they're not as easily accessible in my local yarn shops. And also they are very expensive sometimes. So I usually use something from my stash, or I find something that can work from what I have available. So I have some finished objects. Let's see, let's start with what I was working on last time. So I finished my Zigzag cowl, which is supposed to be a gift for one of my brothers. And this pattern I made up myself because I wanted to use the yarn that I had in my stash, and sometimes I find it difficult to find the right pattern to make what I want with the yarn that I have. So I sometimes it's easier to just make something up myself, and this was a result of that. It's a quite repetitive pattern. It's knit in rustic wool. I have some cowls knit in finsihed by Rauma, and this one is knit in Kauni, which is a color changing yarn. And this one was quite dark, the sections that I was using, but it goes from like a brown to black kind of color. And yeah, this is kind of a commercial, I guess, for myself, because a lot of you wanted this pattern, so I did type it up. I've had it tested and it's on Ravelry now. And I think until the 25th of December, if you buy this and the Selbu cowl, you get $3 off. And if you've already bought, let's say, the Selbu cowl, that discount still applies. You don't have to do anything. It just appears. And I'll put the links to all the patterns that I talk about and makers in the description box below this video. So if you have any questions, just check there first if the information is there. And then I was gonna make the Selbu cowl for my other brother, but then I just didn't really have any brain capacity this past week, so I cast on thinking, okay, I'll make the Zigzag cowl for him as well, but in kind of like opposite colors, using finsihed instead of Kauni. But then after starting it, I just realized that no, I can't give them the same cowl because they're already getting a lot of similar gifts. So that resulted in a new pattern. And this pattern is inspired by the mountain ridge, which is around the village that I live in. I live on the west coast of Norway, so we do have a lot of mountains around. And in the winter, the sun doesn't really peak above it. So I actually went skiing this past weekend with my cousin, and or not skiing, we were wearing these snow boots. You put them on your normal shoes and they have like a big surface area and some spikes underneath, so you can just walk on the mountains in the snow and ice and whatever you want to, walk freely. And we were just up there looking for the sun and it was really nice. I'll put some footage at the end of the episode if you want to see. It was beautiful up on the mountains, and I got to see the sun for the first time in like 2 months, so that was nice. So that kind of looks like this with all the mountaintops on top of the large mountains. It kind of goes like this, and there was the sun, and yeah. So both of these, this one is being tested now, so maybe it will be ready next week. But both of these are quite easy patterns. I'd say that a beginner knitter could try color work for their first time with these ones. And the Selbu cowl too, it's easy, but it's not repetitive in the color work, so you would have to probably look at the chart several times. Whilst these, once you've done one repeat, you could probably just keep going and it will be easy. And it's also very easy to then adjust for a larger or smaller size, because I've made these in junior, small adult and large adult. These two are the small adult, which fits my skinny neck because I have a small head and a small neck, so this one's better for me. The large adult is the same size as the Selbu cowl, which is perfect for the men in my family and also my aunts and, well, people who want a looser cowl, I guess, or they have a bigger neck, so it will fit the same. So yeah, these two finished. Not sure if I'll make cowls for my parents as well. We'll see. I do have 2 versions of the Selbu cowl, so maybe I will give one of them to my mom. And I finished these ones. Still forget to bring the sock blockers for you guys. I'm sorry. I'm the worst. Maybe I'll bring them next time. But yeah, these socks are, I'm working on this pattern. I have had it tech edited, so I'm gonna review the pattern one more time and then call for testers. But this sock is a super simple vanilla sock, the way that my grandma taught me how to knit socks. It's top down and it's like an old traditional heel, but with some tweaks. It's just the way that she knits them and her mother knit them. And it has like a knit together border underneath, and you pick up stitches and then you do decreases. And what I think I'm going to do is that I'm going to write the pattern for like 2 or 3 different stitch counts based on your gauge and your size, or yeah, if you have a thicker leg or thinner leg. And then at the end of the pattern I will probably describe how to modify the sock to fit your foot, because a lot of people have bigger legs than they have feet, right? So the stitch count for the leg and the foot is not always necessarily, the best is not necessarily them having the same stitch count. So what I do is that when I'm doing these decreases, I just keep decreasing until it fits snugly. And the way of knowing how many stitches I will have is once I have knitted this much, I just try it on my foot and pinch whatever is excessive on the side of my foot and see how many stitches extra I want to decrease here. And yeah, I do the knit together and slip knit with the Kitchener closure, but you can also, if you prefer a rounded toe, you could do that, but this is the version that I'm doing in my pattern, so hopefully that turns out well. We will see. I do want to cast on some more socks, but I need to finish some Christmas knitting, and I'm just really looking forward to some days off from work or on Christmas to finally knit on something for me, some selfish knitting, because I like knitting gifts, but I mostly like knitting for myself and just enjoying the process a lot. Yeah, these were the yarns for the cowl that I used, the Rauma Finull and the Kauni color changing Effektyarn for the Zigzag one. But any 100% will work really nicely. And then I have been working on some Christmas socks, and I got this lovely Christmas bag from the Urban Stitcher. If you've seen some of my episodes before, you know that I love her bags, and she sent me this Christmas bag for my Christmas socks. And I've been looking for some Christmassy rustic yarn that's non-superwash, just because I prefer non-superwash socks on my feet, because I feel like the superwash ones, your feet get more sweaty. I don't know if other people struggle with that, but they get like clammy, and I just don't like the feel of them on my feet, and they're not as warm. So I have a pair of socks, these ones, that are very well worn. You can see that they've got some pill factor going on, and these are not socks to be worn outside. These are house socks, and it's a pattern by Fibertales. If you haven't seen her podcast, you should go check her out. She is lovely. She lives in Denmark, and this is a pattern that I knit of her, I think it was a year or 2 ago. It was just when she released it. And it's knit top down with a Latvian braid, and it uses Alafosslopi, which is the thicker yarn from Istex, and it's a very rustic yarn. but it doesn't have any nylon. Like, it's 100% wool, and it's quite thick, and it's not that tightly spun. So if you were to wear these in boots, it would probably get holes in them. But I use these inside. It's almost like slippers. They're very thick, very warm, and I like to have it really cold in my bedroom. But I also struggle with my feet being really cold. So I've actually been sleeping with these for the past 2 weeks, and it's been perfect. So I really wanted to make this in a Christmas version. So in my Christmas bag, I have another pair that, hope mom's not watching, that my mom will get. And it's such a quick knit. It's knit on 6mm needles, and I'm using my Knitter's Pride, or also known as Knit Pro, with the interchangeable magic loop. And honestly, like, knitting a pair of these socks, if you have the day off, that day off is enough to make a pair. I think I knit this one on Sunday, and it wasn't all of Sunday. It was like an hour and then a few more hours in the evening, and this sock was finished. So this is my Christmas sock because it has a burgundy color in the Latvian braid. That counts, right? So I'm almost finished. I need to tie in the ends on this one. I finished this today, and I need to braid the braid, and then I will have a pair of house socks / slippers for my mom. And then as I was knitting this, and it was going quite quickly, I started thinking, ooh, maybe I should make a pair for every family member with like a different color for the braid, and then we could like hang them up, and it could be our Christmas stockings. But I also have other projects to finish, so we'll see. But I really did enjoy this. It was so quick. And I do have a lot of this color because I did buy a sweaters quantity. But then I really wanted to make socks because, yeah. And it's quite affordable. So I think I could make socks for every family member. And then if I get around to making a sweater for myself, I could get some more yarn in the future, because I don't have the contrast colors that I would like to pair with it anyways. And if I'm making a sweater in this, I think it will be a colorwork sweater. I've made one before, and it's honestly the warmest sweater that I own. If I'm going camping, I bring that sweater because I know it gives off a lot of heat. But I don't like the colors that I chose for my version. It's like green, yellow, and red. I should have switched the yellow with this color probably, and it would have looked a lot better. But maybe I can show it in a future episode. So yeah, these are my socks in my Christmas sock bag. And it also has like nice little divisions inside where I can put my needles. So that's what I did today once I finished, so that I could show you guys. Because I do forget sometimes to talk about my knitting needles. I have Knit Pros, this one. And then I have Lykke, which are driftwood needles. And I have a few carbons. And all of those uses the same cords. So I can use them the cords from different sets with the different needles, and it's super nice. And then I have a smaller set of Haya sharps, which are metal needles. And those I use a lot for thinner work objects. I prefer metal when I'm knitting with thinner yarns, because that usually means smaller sizes, and I'm less scared of breaking the needle. And then I really enjoy Lykke and the wood needles for thicker yarns and mohair yarns, because they don't slip off as easily, I feel, when you're knitting with bamboo or wood. And speaking of needles, I got the Chow miniature needles, or the mini set, from my friend. Where did I put it? It's underneath this pile. I will show you in a sec, but I have some more works in progress. So another lovely sock bag from the Urban Stitcher that she gifted me earlier in the fall. And inside it, with the fall colors, I have my Flor Mittens, which is a Norwegian pattern by Istex. And as you see, I haven't tied in the ends yet. I still have the other mitten to make, but I did gently block this for you guys just by holding an iron above it with some steam going down, because that makes the stitches flatten out nicely. And it also has a Latvian braid, and I really enjoy this. It's a very rustic yarn. The prickle factor is high, but that also means that it's warm. I was talking to one of you viewers about yarn and how some yarn smells sheepy, and I don't think that everyone enjoys that, but at least the people that I know here in Norway seem to have like a general consensus that when they go to a yarn store, we smell the yarn, like we touch it and squeeze it and we smell it. And the sheepier, the better. Maybe I'm just in a community with a lot of people loving rustic yarns, but the sheepier the smell, the the less processed a yarn is, the more sheepy it usually smells, because it hasn't gone through a lot of chemical processes. It might just be gently washed and then spun up. So you know that if it smells like a sheep, then it's gonna be nice and warm. So this one smells like a sheep and I love it. And I was knitting it on my Lykke needles, this one, and they broke, and it was a struggle to finish it. But the Chow miniature, which is a set with 1.5 millimeters to 2.5, I managed to buy it off a friend that wasn't using it anymore. So now I'm knitting the second one with these, and these are surgical steel ones, so these one don't break that easily. So the second one is knitting up a lot faster because I don't have to be so worried about the needles breaking. So I'm knitting it with a little bit more confidence, and I'm just about to start the color work. And if you want to make these mittens, it's in Norwegian, but it's also charted. So if you know how to read a chart for mittens, you could easily work this out, but the chart doesn't include the Latvian braid. So, but you can easily figure that out by just Googling Latvian braid, and there's tons of videos online for that. So this project is in my bag, and I think I will knit this in the next few days because I really want to start wearing these mittens. So that's on my knit list. And I started another cowl. So the plan was to make a cowl for my mother, and I wanted to make a Christmassy one, and I have made up a colorwork pattern for it, which will look like snow crystals. And I wanted to do a different border, because all of these other ones, they have the simple same border on top and bottom, but I wanted to have one that splits to have it kind of sit better. I don't think I could put this on without losing the stitches, but yeah, it will, like, the shoulder will be on each side here, and it will just sit nicely, and then it will have, so it will sit like this, and then it will have color work here, and then a thinner border. So that is the plan. I've made the colorwork pattern, so I'm ready to go. But I'm not sure about the yarn. I wanted to make a Christmassy version, and these yarns are some super old stash yarn that I've been wondering what to do with. They're like a light fingering weight. It's called BC Garn Shetlandsuld. This one I have already used in my other ones together with the Kauni, because it's just a nice neutral. And then I have 2 skeins of this one, which is like a raspberry red. And when I look at it alone, it looks Christmassy enough for me. I personally enjoy more the warm reds than the cooler reds. You know, the reds that border on rust and orange and brown tones, and not as much on the pink, lilac and blue tones. But together it does look more like a blue red. And yeah, I just don't know. But I think once I've knitted a pattern repeat, it will show up and I will know if I like it or not. So that is a current project that I will be knitting on, but I think I might finish the mittens first, because I need to get a few things off my needles so that when Christmas comes around, I can get back to my 2 larger projects, which are I have the Shawl. So this is Alafosslopi, which is an unspun yarn from Istex, and these 3 colors I haven't started using yet, because the Shawl by Melody Hoffman starts out by using the darkest color, and then you gradually work your way with like lace and garter sections. And yeah, so I've started using the 3rd color, and I have 3 more colors to blend in. So I really want to give this some love, and I'm knitting it on 4.5 millimeter Lykke needles, which is the size recommended in the pattern. I did not bother swatching because I figure it's a large shawl, so even if I knit too tightly, it will still be a nice sized shawl, and if I knit too loosely, even better, because the bigger the shawl, the better. So that's one of the projects that I want to give some love during Christmas. And if you have watched me before, I've talked about this sheep bag. This sheep bag was like the dream bag that I really wanted to get from the Urban Stitcher, but she was sold out, and then she got the fabric back in and she let me choose the background, so I chose green because I love my greens and browns and reds and fall colors, and she made this for me. And she wanted me to let you know that she's been holding a few of these aside, so that once I release this episode, those of you who, like me, love everything sheepy can go and hopefully get some before she sells out. So I will let her know when I upload this so she can make them available for you guys. And it's so well made. It's honestly the perfect bag, and inside she has these cute little, let's see if you can see, these cute little colored sheep, like a rainbow sheet and a polka dot, and they're just so cute. And these are like the inside pockets. So it's almost as if I'm becoming like the Knitting Traditions podcast featuring Urban Stitcher, but her bags are so lovely. I can't get enough of them. I wish I had a bag for every project. And I guess if I stick to 4 projects, I do. So, yeah, really, really nice quality bags. Another project that I want to give some love during Christmas, which I'm keeping in this bag that I got in Tanzania is my cabled sweater. I did a few rows in this, but nothing huge since the last time I showed it. Just gift knitting got in the way. But yeah, this sweater is going to be awesome. And I will show it again in natural daylight because the colors are getting a little bit blown out. But you know what? I really wanted to podcast, and if I'm gonna wait for the good lighting, I will see you guys in 2-3 months time. So this is what we have. And yeah, you can go back a few episodes if you want to hear me talk about it, but I'm using the Holst Super Soft in the cinnamon color, held double. And you basically, for this one I use a 3mm needle and a cable needle for the cable stitches. And that's it. And I'm just making it up as I go. There's no pattern for this, but I am using the 250 Stitches Japanese book for parts of one of the braids. So this book is really great if you want to try yourself at some complicated stitch patterns. Okay, so we're already at like 37 minutes, and I was thinking here that I wouldn't have enough knitting to show you guys. But you have noted I have spent so much of my time carding fiber. I had 3 sheeps, a Norwegian Dalase, which is a white, very common sheep breed. And then I had the pelt wool, which is the same fiber used in Tinde by Hillesvåg, which is my favorite yarn. And then I have the Norwegian wild sheep, which is this breed, which has very long, kind of rough fibers, and it's the oldest Norwegian sheep breed. And these sheep live on this farm that I'm renting this apartment on. They live outside the whole year, and in the summer they're roaming free about the mountains. And then when fall comes around, the whole family goes up to hoard these sheep down again, and they will have to like climb several mountain tops to find one sheep here and one sheep there, and that has gone astray. So I got some wool from them once they got back this fall, and they got cut before the winter. So I finished carding up the white Dalase, and I think I ended up with 800 grams of this wool. And then I started on the pelt wool, which is more of a light gray fiber. And honestly guys, this pelt wool is so silky soft. It's the softest of the 3 yarns, but it's quite hard for my elbow that I broke this summer to work with the carding. It kind of hurts a little bit, so I need to be a little bit more careful. So I did take a break from carding the pelt wool once I got halfway to try and card some of the wild sheep, and it's a lot easier carding this one because this wild sheep fiber are very long straight hair, so it doesn't have a lot of curls to kind of card into long straight fibers. It's just naturally like that. So basically I just run it through a drum carder, and I pick out the little fluffs that are not long enough to kind of go smoothly around, so they stick up and it's easy to pick them off. So I think I have carded up 8 rolls of this wild sheep, and of this. I have also carded up, I think 8. So I'm halfway done with this and not even halfway done with the Norwegian wild sheep. And this was the Chow mini set that I bought from my friend. So now I can actually check the sizes. And yeah, it's 1.5 millimeters or a 000 in the US size to a 2.5 millimeters or a 1.5 US size. So I just wanted to show you guys the smallest one. Like, look at this. These are like toothpicks, honestly. They're so thin. You can like kill someone with these. I don't think they would allow me to take these with me on a plane. I'm always worried about that because I don't want to be on a plane without knitting. But at the same time, I don't want them to take my knitting needles. So usually I will cast on something with the thicker needle and I will use my wood needles. And that has never been a problem. In Tanzania, they did ask questions. I don't think they understood what I was doing with these long ass needles in my bag, but they let me keep it, thankfully. I was a bit worried there for a second that they would take my knitting away, and that was a 15-hour flight. So if you've been traveling with knitting needles and been on a 15-hour flight and you enjoy knitting on that flight, you will understand my anxiety of not being able to do that. And so, you guys know that I'm a fan of the Urban Stitcher. And she has a sister named Vicky. And out of the blue, Vicky sent me some yarn because she is an indie dyer. And she sent me some lovely yarn. Let's see, yeah. So this is a nice representation of the colors once I get it away from my artificial light. And her company is called Green Loft Yarns. I'll put links below. And this was her new base that she sent to me because she heard from her sister that I'm a huge non-superwash, more rustic, organic, natural wool fiber fan. And this is her new line in dyed non-superwash yarns. And this yarn is called Blush. The pink one is Blush. And the beige one is called Oatmeal. And it's made from 100% Highland wool. And it's not superwash, and it's 50 grams, which gives you 210 meters. And you guys, this is the softest non-superwash 100% wool by an indie dyer that I have ever felt. And that's this, if there was like a prickle factor between the Istex, which is the Norwegian one, then the prickle factor would be like 4 and 1, 5 being maximum. So I am really excited to try out this yarn. And she also sent me a really cute stitch marker with like little 2. I'm so sorry about the lighting, you guys. I hope you can bear with me. But yeah, she sent me these nice 2 little mittens. It's on like 1 stitch marker. And so here's what I was thinking. I really want to try this yarn that she sent me. And I'm thinking about making either a hat or a cowl or mittens or socks. Something small that will only use up 1 of them. So my thoughts are that I will donate 1 of these on behalf of her, Green Loft Yarns, to the 10,000 subscriber giveaway. So in order for you to win this giveaway, you have to subscribe to my channel. You have to like this video, give it like a thumbs up below, and leave a comment where you just leave a comment where you specify whether you would like the oatmeal or the blush colorway. I would love to use either one, so you can choose which one you would like. And as another part of the giveaway, if you saw a few episodes ago, I had this box standing here with my yarn in. This is a kind of a velvety velour organizing box from a Norwegian department store with some faux leather straps, and it's got like a brim here, but it's easily foldable like this. So I bought one of these for you guys because I think I can easily ship this. So the giveaway will give you this thing, this box for your project. One of these yarns from West Green Loft yarns, just right below which one, blush or oatmeal. And also I bought you my favorite little travel toolkit. This kit has, well, almost everything you could need. It has these cable needles, needle stoppers, progress markers, keepers, whatever you call them. Also these loops that kind of look like the loops from cocoa knits. Like these ones in different colors that you can put on your needle. And my favorite, which are these ones that open up. And it has measuring tape and this kind of, what is it? You use this for needlework or something to protect your finger. And it has these things, which you can put your needles on hold if you're working on some other needles. It has this thing that's used for unripping seams. And it has two different kinds of needles, for like a darning needle for your thicker yarn projects, and a thin metal one for weaving in your normal ends. And my favorite part in this kit are these needles. These needles are just the coolest, if you ask me. They're just like snip snip. And yeah, I have the same kit and I love it. I have like one kit with like my favorite objects that I've collected from all over the world for the past several years. But this thing is so small and handy, and it's just so easy to drop in a bag, and then I know that I will have whatever I need to finish my project. And then I received 2 patterns in I think 2 episodes ago by Granny Kit, and I wanted to keep one for myself and give you guys one. And I want to give you guys the Angie Bunny crochet object pattern. So I will put this in this nice little giveaway basket. So thank you guys so much for subscribing to my channel, and yeah, if you want to be eligible to win some goodies, just subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment letting me know which yarn you want. And also let me know what you guys are knitting on, or if you have some traditions that you're enjoying now. I am waiting for my family. I am making Christmas cookies and watching Christmas movies, and I hope that you're also having a good time in the midst of everything. And I have some more acquisitions. I got this magnet bracelet from Prim. I got this at a online sewing store. I know that Coco Knits has similar ones, but I couldn't really get them when I was looking online. So I got this one because I am looking forward to some quality time with my cable sweater this Christmas. And I always lose my cable needle. I never remember between each round where I put it. So now I can have it on my wrist, and I think that's gonna save me a lot of time where I don't have to look for it. So that's gonna be nice. And I received a package, a Christmas present for myself. I spent the money that I earned from my Sellbook Cowl on some yarn that I have been wanting to try for a long time. And I got this beauty today, and it's very vacuum packed. And I can't find my my scissors, so I will show this in all its glory when I start knitting with it. But the yarn that I'm talking about is tuku wool, which is a rustic 100% fingering weight yarn from Finland. So I love my Norwegian yarns, I love my Danish yarns, and a lot of you guys have been recommending tuku wool. So I figured I have to try it. So I bought, I think, 2 sweater quantities and a couple of sock yarns. So I'm really looking forward to trying that once I have finished a few whips and it's time for selfish knitting again. And then that is what I will be doing. So usually I do a little sit and knit with me section at the end. Only problem is today I don't have any projects that are knit in the round. So you go ahead and knit, and I will sit here and talk with you a little bit and drink our tea, which is no longer warm. I talked for too long, but that's okay. I will be better prepared for the next episode, I hope. It was a struggle today to even get off the couch after I got home. But I'm here, you're here. I hope you're enjoying it. And I am looking forward to talking to you guys once I've released this episode. A little Knitflix section, I haven't done that in a while. One of you contacted me recommending the movie Mrs. Potter, which I've actually seen before, but it's been years. It's the same actor that plays in Bridget Jones. Her name is Renee something. Yeah. But Mrs. Potter is an older movie. It's like a costume drama, and it's just such a good movie, and I really enjoyed rewatching it. I took a break from my carding and sat down with a cup of tea and just relaxed for, I think it's 1 hour and 30 minutes or something, and it was really nice. So if you haven't seen Mrs. Potter, I recommend watching it once you have some time to yourself with your knitting. And it's actually on YouTube, like the whole movie. I didn't even realize YouTube had whole movies, but it was on there. That's the link that one of you guys sent to me. And I also have really been enjoying the TV show on Netflix, which is called The Queen's Gambit, which is a show about chess, a young chess player. It was a really good show. Now I'm watching The Umbrella Academy, which is entertaining, Wouldn't say it's as good, but it's entertaining. Yeah, so I like it. I keep needing to find new shows to watch, so that is one that I'm watching right now. And yeah, I was gonna talk about how I wash my garments. Usually when I knit a sweater, I will just soak it in some lukewarm water with a wool soap that doesn't need to be rinsed out, because then I can just gently squeeze out the water. Sometimes if it's like a heavier sweater, I will put it on a dry towel and then I will roll that and step on it to kind of squeeze the water into the towel. And then I will lay it flat to dry. And that's kind of like wet blocking the sweater. Other garments I might just steam block with my iron. So I'll put it, I don't have an ironing table, so I'll put it on a hard surface on a blanket. And then the wet garment I'll put on there. And then I'll also have a wet cloth on top of that again. And then I use my hot iron with the steam function on top of that wet cloth. And I also always turn my knitwear inside out to protect the stitches. And that steam blocks it. And after I've worn a garment for a while and I need to wash it again, because if you use 100% wool, it's kind of self-cleansing, so you don't really need to wash it that often. But if you do need to, once I've worn it for a while, I'm less scared of destroying it, because at least I've gotten some joy out of it, right? So then I will just wash it in the machine with my other woolens, and I wash it on a wool program with wool soap. Make sure that the temperature is not higher than 40, just because I don't know. I know that it's like a combination of temperature changes and friction and wrong soap and all of these things that can felt things. But I know that I'm pretty safe if I use the wool program with the right soap on a low temperature, like 40 or 30 even better. And then either no motion or like high motion, so it never falls down, because that gives it the friction. So I usually wash it with So I usually wash it together with a lot of other wool garments so that it's not too little in the machine, because if it's more, then it's all just moving around and it's not getting that friction. And then it depends on the garment. If it's a garment that will easily stretch when it's wet and has gravity applied, I will lay it flat to dry. And if not, I will hang it up on my laundry rack. Like my favorite sweater, mellomtrøya, which is knit in 100% Norwegian wool. It's like 300 grams for the whole sweater. It's not heavy, so I'm not scared of washing it, and I just hang it on the rack, and it's easy maintenance. Yeah. I wonder if there's anything else you would like to know. We are doing the rustic knitalong, and to win that you have to put a finished object made of a natural fiber without plastics, non-superwash. You have to put a photo of a finished object in the Ravelry thread. I'll put the links below. And we also have a question and answer thread on that Ravelry group if you have something you want me to talk about. And yeah, we are using the rustic knitalong hashtag on Instagram, which I follow, and I post some photos at the end of the video from there. And it's so nice to see what all of you guys are making. You guys are making beautiful things, and it's really tickling my wish list. Or yeah, I just really want to knit all the things, but I need to finish all the things first, or at least some of the things. So if you want to participate, it runs until the end of February, so plenty of time, and it doesn't need to be something big, and whips are allowed, and the prizes are a bag from the Urban Stitcher, which she kindly donated, and I am donating my Cowl pattern, this one, together with the yarn needed to make one, and this beautiful colors. So yeah, that's the prize for the rustic knit along. But honestly, it's not about winning. Nothing's about winning except for the giveaway for this episode, I guess. Comment below. It's just really nice to see that people are participating and we're doing something together. And I'm hoping that people get the nudge to try something with a little bit more scratch factors, just to feel how nice and warm it is. And I personally used to be really sensitive to scratchy yarn, but I think the more that I've been knitting and the more that I learn about the yarn and its properties, the more I'm loving the more and more rustic, and the prickle factor is kind of just going in one ear and out the other. I don't really mind as much anymore. But socks are always a good way to try something, because usually your feet are not as sensitive as, let's say, your forehead or your neck. The neck for me is my most sensitive area. But yeah, I feel like I'm becoming less and less sensitive. Maybe it's just mind over body. Who knows? But yeah, I will cast on something simpler, so something that's not color work, for the next episode, so that we can sit and knit together. I'm hoping that I can do one more episode before Christmas, but I might not be able to. I don't know. My family is coming, and if they are here, we will be 5 people in a tiny apartment, and I don't know how to get enough privacy and quiet space to record, but let's cross our fingers and see. And if not, I will see you when I see you. I hope that you have a lovely holiday, or just a lovely December, and that you're surrounded by loved ones, and if not, that you will be soon, and that everything will be okay. And yeah, I hope I will see you again soon. And it's in some exciting times we're living in, and we just gotta take care of each other and be kind. And Pia is scratching on the door, so it's time to say goodbye. Bye.